is my third unboxing. As I promise, each and every week I'm going to come up with a couple of new items and stuff and go over some of my originals, and then at the end of the actual video, I'm going to show some of the really rare items. I'm going to start this week with something that's interesting. We were planning a podcast with the famous Craig Taubeck from Johnson Smith Company, and talking about technical difficulties. I told them it was Craig's curse, because I mean, either his audio wasn't working, it was crazy. My internet wasn't working. We tried to do the podcast 3 times, and finally the third time we got it. But the only problem with it is that there was so much staticky in his end that we decided to, instead of doing it as a regular podcast, we're going to do it as a special. Probably this weekend it's going to air. You can hear it, but it's got a lot of problems. Now, a lot of people have probably asked, a lot of people would say, hey, you need a better mic. Well, the problem is because of the coronavirus. I actually purchased the Podcaster Pro, I think it is, from Rode, which goes for about $600. It's a great unit for podcasting. It's awesome. But here's the problem. I got it after 2 months. Now I got to wait another 2 months to get the microphones. Any microphone that can go with it. Because it's crazy. The what's happening out there right now with everything being sold out. I tried B&H. I tried Adorama. I tried Best Buys, Staples, everything that could sell a microphone. eBay, nobody has the mic, and the people that do have it are selling it for twice the regular price of it, which for now, like I said, I'd rather have a podcast that can have information you guys enjoy. I know it doesn't sound the greatest because of the fact that, we're just beginning, and it's something I've never even tried doing before, but let's begin anyway. Here we have 1985 Boys Life magazine, and we have here a 1984 Boys Life. Now, the reason I bought such late issues is because I wanted to show you guys that mail order went as far as 1984, 85, and then it just kind of diminished where it finally wasn't there no more. Here in this February of 1985, we have a full page of Johnson Smith Company, see? So they were still running full page ads in 1985 in Boys Life magazine. And, and then you go, there's a section here with the different novelties and stuff. But anyway, I wanted to show that ad. I'm here. I want to show an ad that I'm going to say a little bit about it towards the end. But a lot of people I think posted about this ad. A lot of people always wanted it, and I was one of those that wanted it as a kid. But I did order it about 4 or 5 times, I think. I have a couple of sets, but here it is. The ad said, "You can float on air." You see the one right here? And this ad ran, I think, for about 40 years. Even in 1985, it was still running. I had a chance to speak to the owner of that, the person who did that. His name is actually Ross. And I asked him how well did he do with it, with the ad, and he said, well, it pays his car. We're talking many, many years ago. And here is back in I think the first time this appeared was in, I don't know if it says the year, but I think it was like the 1950s, where Boys Life featured on how to build a robot. They had an article, and it was called Gizmo the Great. And because of the popularity of it, it actually went on to where I think in the 80s and 90s, they actually produced 3 more versions of how to build Gizmo. But anyway, having said that, I'm going to go over now a couple of products. Now, the products I bought out today are actually ones that I have lying around. They're not the prime ones that are in the original box and stuff, except for a couple. Because like I said, I have so much that it's kind of hard to go through all the things. But I decided to show products and from my collection, and we're going to start right now. And in fact, as I was bringing it out, I had a casualty with one. I call it casualties of war as a collector. That, mostly what I'm going to be showing today are different banks. Most of the banks were initially put out by Pointer Products, And they started with the Addams Family Thing Bank, and they made several versions. I have about 22 different versions from that bank, including I have a 3 original Addams Family Thing with the beautiful box, everything with the original show on it. I had 5, but I sold 2 of them in the last couple of years. So now I have 3 left. I like to keep those because the box is gorgeous on it and the artwork is fantastic. From the original Addams Family Thing, the first one I'm going to show, which this is funny because whoever owned this, I got this, I don't know, flea market or something. But whoever owned it looked like Dracula actually carved his fingers into it. This was called the Dracula Bank. As you could see right here, see Dracula Bank. And it's the Addams Family Thing Bank. If you could see, it was actually like a larger version when they did them back in the 1960s. And as you could see in the bottom, actually, I don't know if you could see it, but it says made in Japan. This bank went through various stages of changes and different names. Over here, I'm not going to open it, but you could see it. I think that it's the Dracula Bank, which is this one, but this one's in mint condition. They also had another version of it, which I do have as well, and the box is really nice, and that shows like some type of Dracula figure. I don't remember right now exactly, but the graphics are different. Now, with these 2 banks that I'm showing here, I'm going to put it here on the side. I'm going to now show another version of it. This is called the Gotcha Bank. They had, Greedy Fingers Bank, Thing Bank, Got You. Well, Got You, what this one made it different is that once the coin went in, it actually made a laugh. So the company who made this is John Hanson Company, you see? And if you do come across one on eBay, they go for a couple of dollars. But I wanted to show you something. Here is a Thing Bank. It's out of the box, but it's the original. See, this little thing here is because when you put the coin in, it would kind of go like that and move, and then the green hen would come out. But as it got older and older, it became more elaborate, and the hen actually looked like a hen, not like a little claw, the green claw. But you see the difference in sizes? I just wanted to show so you could see that it also became smaller than that version back in the day. Here is a rare version, very rarely seen, but it's called the Castle of Horror Bank. Now, what this did is, when you wound it, you press here, and I guess, see, the head would come out, and the thing would go in the obviously the coin. See, I'm actually pressing it because I guess it was overwound there. I don't want it to break. I have about a couple, about 10 or 11 of these. I used to sell them in my store in the day. Here is that same bank. I have, here's the box version of it. Now, I had explained that I did have a fire. Some of the boxes got destroyed, so I only have about 4 in the original box and about 6 because I had to throw out the boxes for it. Then another bank that was also done, it's called the Hellmaster Bank. In this bank here, what it does is it's a coffin bank, but kind of the skull, the jaw of comes out and takes it in. Now I have, a couple of these as well because I used to sell them in my shop. But I'm just showing the different banks because I've been a big bank collector, and this all comes from the original ad from the Haunted House Mystery Bank from Honor House that I showed you guys a while back. And the reason is that I always wanted to find that bank, so in the process I came across many banks. This one was sold in Johnson Smith for years, the Coffin Bank. Now this is a later version. The earlier versions, which I do have a couple of, I don't have them here with me at this moment. I have them in here in the storage, but I don't have them to show you guys. But this is a coffin bank that, the head comes out, the head pops up a little. And earlier versions were made of metal, and then it had like a sheet of material. Those do about $100 and some when they come up on eBay. Here is another bank, which this actually is not a bank. It's a haunted house. It's a couple of years old. It's probably from the mid '80s, and I have a couple of these. I might put them on eBay pretty soon because they're rare. They're not seen, but the nice artwork in the box. The battery operated. They make sounds. They go like, you know, stuff like that. But this is another little nice piece right here. I collected, in fact, let me show one final. Now this one here, I don't know who used to own this, but it says Mary's Box on it. See, I got this in some eBay sale, I don't know. When you have one in good condition, and I do have about 3 of them in perfect condition in the box, different versions of years. It's called the Fingers Bank, and what it does is when you, well, of course, okay, I think you do this. You press the thing, and as you can see, a hand comes out and takes it. It's working. I did get it. It's missing the back, and it's also made in Japan. I think Fangona or something like that is the company that makes it. I got this because I love repairing toys whenever I can, and I've been lazy lately. But before I used to repair all this stuff, repaint them, do them over, and make them look like new. It's a specialty I kind of acquired on there. Now, one of the things that I have, which is kind of funny, it fell before and the roof flew off, and I was like, oh man. In the process of trying to bring it to you guys, is this here. I was able, believe it or not, I was able to repair it, but it took me a while there. What this does is like a toothpick holder, and the bird comes out when you wind, you know, and gives you the toothpick. Picks it up from the bundle here. But this is one of the tin metals. Again, this was made in China, so this is definitely a newer version of it. I don't know where I got it. I just thought it was cool, so I showed it to you guys. Now, what I've done... Oh, sorry. I have another one here. This one was sold actually in Radio Shack. And this one here, you know, when you goes like this, it starts going like that. It doesn't have battery, so it's not going to be working out. And I have a couple. I have like 3 or 4 of them also in box condition. This one I have because it's the open, whatever. If I get a bank and I'm able to buy it, I'll buy it because I just like this stuff. But this one here, what it would do is a tongue would come out, and obviously it eats your change. Because of the, and I'm seeing where I put it. Okay, because of the ad from Honor House and Johnson Smith, they always sold the Jackpot Bank. And I know Mail Order Mystery shows one that when you pull the lever, I think a little head comes up of a thing that squirts you with water. And they also show one that doesn't do anything. It's an imitation. But one of the originals that was sold by Honor House was actually this little guy. See here? And it's in mint condition. This one here actually pays out dimes. It only works with dimes, and it's really small, you see? But you thought you were getting something bigger. But this is the actual late 60s, early 70s, sold by Honor House, and later, you know, they improvised and gave that cheaper, bigger, you know, plastic version that is pictured inside Mail Order Mysteries, the book. But this one here, and I have that one too, obviously, you know, I gave it so it could be pictured. This one here is an original. And I do have, I don't know, about a dozen of those because I used to sell them in my magic store back in 1989 when I first got them. Because of that and the love for the Jackpot Bank or slot machine, I started acquiring quite a few. I have in my possession about 21, 22 of this different versions of slot machines. They go back to the 70s, 60s. I just want to show 2 of them here, see? I've collected them for years. I love them. Whenever I come across one, I usually get it. I have some bigger electric ones. I had at one time a real one too that I bought, but I think, if I'm correct, I lost that one in the fire. I paid for it, I think, like $200 in the flea market. They were selling them, and they had made them that the coins themselves were like, you know, like the ones when you go to amusement parks that they have, but it was a real slot machine. The thing was huge and weighed like 70 pounds. It was huge and heavy. But anyway, so far that's, I'm making the video a lot shorter today, and I just wanted to show you guys a few of the things. Now, the ad that I show you guys, that this is what I wanted to bring up right now, that I showed you guys was the ad for the You Can Float on Air. One other famous ad that ran through the 80s and even 90s was an ad that said you can actually take your television and build this contraction for your TV that goes in front of the TV, and it can make your picture, your image, blow up to like 102 inches on the wall. So it said, why spend on a flat screen thousands when you can... What they would send you was this, and I just want to show you the actual product. See, here's the TV projection kit. See, you would be able to put a television inside and stuff. And believe it or not, I had a carpenter build me one. I never really used it, but the box is there. He did build it according to the specs. And this is the lens, the lens they sent you. It looks like one of those magnifiers that you put over pages and stuff. But as you could see, there was a time I was selling them, so I have quite a few of the lenses, and I just came across. I just thought it was kind of cool to show you guys how some of the scams, that you could say scams, because this was like $29 for this lens, and you had to build the whole thing. And this are, here are the plans on how to build it, the original plans. You see, it was kind of like, great item to have. I mean, I do have, I don't know, quite a few of them, because like I said, I try to sell them. So I wholesaled, I bought them wholesale in the 80s, and I bought a whole bunch of them. It's funny, there's something in here. Oh, look at this. One of the, this is not a Hypnocoin. This was actually a Hypnocoin that I was selling before I made the lenticular. But I just found it in here. I didn't even know it was here. I have a lot of surprises. Every time I open my stuff, it's always a surprise waiting there. Now, I wanted to show, when you order the hovercraft plans, which, let me tell you, that it was a fantastic ad, and it sold very well. And the guy made a good profit, because all he was selling was papers for like $6.95 or $5.95. I forgot what the price said a few minutes ago. But what I wanted to show is what you got now. Unfortunately, I didn't find the plans tonight. I promise I will show in a future show. But when you got the plans, here, the air car, see, you would get a little flyer that said that if you wanted to order a thing on how to make those bouncy houses, those bouncy balloons, you can order it. So I did as well. I just want to show what the plans would, look like. This is for the space age thing, and you see the back here, and it was stapled over here. But this is exactly what the plans for. The only thing with the hovercraft, it teaches you over here. It teaches you how to make 3 or 4 different versions. With the hovercraft, it tells you to use one of those old-fashioned Electrolux vacuum cleaner. Vacuum cleaners. Take out the motor, and you kind of make like a triangular or a square. Like 2 round things, and it's a hovercraft. It actually hovers over. It works. It can lift, I think, 200 pounds. A person that's 200 pounds. I bought it, and I also photocopied them, and probably have over 40 somewhere. Just tonight, for some reason, I couldn't find it. When he said that if you read the ad, it says you get a free calendar or an inventor's calendar, and over here, see, widget works. I got the calendar, not free. You had to like pay additional for it, and actually, the calendar never changed. I don't think he ever made a second part of it, but this is... Now, the guy who used to run this company he worked for NASA, so he was an engineer, and he had several patents. But this is what the calendar was. It's actually made of a really heavy, I don't know if you could see, stock paper. It's not even stock paper. It's more like plastic, it feels like. But this would be the calendar. One side... It had like things that you should invent each month of the year. When I'm saying calendar, it actually told you September, do this, do that. So it actually told you to do different projects. And then the back, obviously, a couple of stories there, and the thing at the top, Widget Works, which is the company that made the Aero car or Air car. And this is what you would get. In here also, I got, I don't know, it was kind of some flyer, but it speaks of the Robosaurus monster. And it shows a photograph of it, and, you know, that just came in with it. I don't know if that was just an advertising they used for it or whatever it was, but that Robosaurus was really cool. I mean, he would always be in Madison Square Garden. I haven't heard of it in a while, but I've seen him on TV. I've never seen it in person, but, you know. So anyway, I wanted to show you guys that, and the only shame is I don't have the actual hovercraft plans right now that I can show you, but it, you know, it's, I do these videos at almost 2:30 in the morning, and if I keep looking, I'm never going to go to bed tonight, because I just picked randomly a few things to show you guys and, you know, make the video cool. Now, as I said, I wasn't going to make a long video, so I'm just going to kind of wrap it up right now, and I'm going to show one thing here, and if two things, a little thing that you guys might like, but I found this little flying saucer that I put together out of paper, and I don't know if the website is still up, because I got this way back in the mid-90s, I think, but it's called Potter's UFO Glider, and it's coolmaxhot.com is the website, and in the bottom, see, there's a dime there. What this is supposed to do is, it's supposed to imitate what a flying saucer does as it flies. And there's a little story on the way. I mean, it was a pretty cool, but anyway, when you throw it, it kind of does this, you know, up and down, like they say, the flying saucers, when they're flying, they kind of do like when you throw a pebble across the water and it goes tee, like it jumps. So what this does is goes like this and goes like this and goes like this because of the dime. So it's supposed to be a frisbee kind of thing. I've had it. I never threw it out. But I think if you guys are interested, you can probably download it and still make it, because I'm sure the site is probably still up there. I don't think it's gone down. I did see it about 2 or 3 years ago. What I wanted to show, which I have here, is, and if Todd is listening, Todd, this is actually meant for you here, buddy. I found a comic book. The comic book, I think it's kind of like a mock-up. It says The Avengers 1.5. So it's an edition that's just making fun of things. And since Todd is a big giant collector of sea monkeys, in the back it's got instead of sea monkeys, sea baboons, you know. So it's making fun of the ad, and I thought it was kind of cool. I don't know if they still sell this. Here's here they're making fun of the Charles Atlas ad where it says the insults, instead of the insults that made a man out of Mac, it's the insults that made a corpse out of Mac, you know. So it's basically, I don't know if it has any more ads in here. In fact, I'm just looking through it really quick to see, because it's they have t-shirts here, but this looks like it's legit. It doesn't look like it's a fake ad or anything. I thought they would have the Amazing Home Training Order Course. This is one that was in many comic books. It looks like it's also everything. It's just a book making fun of. So I wanted to show this to Todd because of the fact that, you know, he loves the sea monkey so much. Maybe that's something that will be up his alley. Here, I don't know. This is just a comic book. House of Secrets. I love that cover. Look at that cover. How cool that is. You know. I have so many of these comic books is because they have that really, really nice cover. And I'll bet you by looking at it in here, the ad page here, dinosaurs, and the different ads. 3D is back. Of course, the Charles Atlas. A lot of people don't know this. This is the longest running ad in the history of comic book mail order. Here you have Private Eyes. Now, Private Eyes, the big three. I actually saw a catalog before. If I knew that I would have seen this ad, I would have bought it out. Of the big three. The big three was one of those companies that advertised in a lot of comic books, including Boys Life magazine. And here they're selling the See Behind glasses, which were the rival of the X-rays, because it kind of makes it look like you could see behind. And all it is a pair of sunglasses that have like a little mirror on the side that when you look, you could see behind you. I actually sold those a while back, and I have several pairs. Some were goofy and square, but the other ones were really nice. Actually, you couldn't tell um, if they were. Anyway, this particular comic here has, so it's got to be a newer version because it's probably towards the 80s. Most of the ads that they ran were not as many. This is 1979. Huh? I guess it's just a comic that didn't have too many ads, except see this one here with a bubble Mr. Stretch Armstrong. Is it Stretch Armstrong? No, it's actually telling you to the new comedy adventure show. Oh, here's another ad for the race sets. Well, anyway, I guess because like back in the late 80s, early 80s actually, you would see that the comics only had this bunch of little small ads like that, and Johnson Smith would have everything, but the full page ads were in the late 60s to I think like in 1981, 82 they kind of started going away, and then they came back again in wrestling magazines, but there were different companies in the wrestling magazine except Johnson Smith, of course. Johnson Smith always was there. Well, anyway, having said that, I'm like I said to you guys, the podcast with Craig Taubeck, unfortunately, because of the location where he lives is so remote, his cell phone was not working at top par there. So it is what it is. I'd rather have it than not have it at all. So I hope you guys get a chance to listen to it. It's going to air in the middle of the week, probably towards the next day or two. I'll put it out as a special. It's not going to be a regular podcast due to the fact of the way there was so much technical difficulties with it. Having said that, again, I say please, guys, come over to House of the Unusual, join the forum, post on the blog if you can, become a member, follow me on YouTube. Please, if you can, share YouTube. It'd be nice to keep getting subscribers, to the show. And as we grow, and I will continue to do these videos once a week now. I've been promising it for a while, but I haven't done it now. The podcast has been really, really turning better than I thought. And that's what made me go ahead and invest on the more expensive equipment to do it. It's very engaging. It's fascinating. The thing I was going to say also, I've mentioned a couple of times, but if you guys can, Crypt of Classic, which is made one of Joe, my co-host, specialty, recently collapsed or something in Facebook. There's a problem that it went off the air. And I think what happened was he was deleting one of his pages. And if you don't have a main page, any business page you have goes with it. And it was a mistake on his behalf, and you can't get back what you delete, unfortunately. So having said that, we're going to restart it in the actual website of House of the Unusual. Guys, again, thank you. And please, I do need your help. I do need you guys to make me grow so I can do more of this stuff. And it's fun. I was thinking, and probably, I'm not too sure exactly how I'm going to start it, but I'm going to get maybe some original stuff that I have duplicates of, and I'm going to give them away as gifts. For people who win them, like a lottery type of thing. When I mean not lottery, of course, you can't do lotteries, but something where you'll put your name in and whatever. And I'm going to give away free gifts. Let's put it that way. I'm going to be doing it soon, but right now I got my hands packed between the podcast, the website. You'll see changes every day on it because I'm struggling to learn how to even work it, how to make it better. There's a couple of drawbacks that I can't change, which I wish I could, such as when you go to the forum, unfortunately, it's a long thread of things, that people put, but it's not. I wanted to have categories where, say you like mail order or you like horror films or whatever, that you would hit that and there would be subcategories. And I was trying to do that, but I guess you can't do that when you use a certain host. And I did think about doing a WordPress website, but when I was in the stages of that and my site had collapsed, my original site that had been running since 1998, I had no choice but to run and get something up and running because I was losing business. I just needed a website, a presence. And I obviously took up Wix, which, it's really good and stuff. It's a beautiful website builder. But it's not like if you go on WordPress. The problem with WordPress is that I had to study it all over. I had to go on YouTube and take classes on how to do it. And I just haven't had the time. Do work a full-time job. This is my hobby, which I'm hoping to turn into a full-time income and live off of this as I retire. I do know eventually I got to start selling stuff. I want to sell a lot of the stuff I own. Stay with a few items. Because right now, to be honest with you, my collection is just beyond what I want it to be. And I do have quite a few rare. In fact, I probably have everything that anybody's seen. Or I do have the largest, I think, collection probably in the world when it comes to comic book novelties. My submarine eventually is going to make an appearance, if God is willing, through the. I mean, I pray to Jesus to help me on this. If if it means it, I'll go. If not, but I was scheduled to go to Pawn Stars with Rick Harris in Las Vegas, and apparently I'm on hold right now because they're still not filming, and they told me it might be towards the end of November. I don't know. Right now, the girl who's the producer that had spoken to me actually left the position she was in, so she contacted me a week ago and said I'm going to be hearing from somebody else other than her. It's great to do, and it's great to make the appearance because the submarine is one of those items that I've treasured all my life. But if the price is right, maybe it's time for it to swim away. I know there's none other out there. I always said it's like basically the Mona Lisa of collectibles. Just like my 7-foot ghost, none has ever appeared. Again, guys, I've been looking for the 7-foot robot plants. If anybody has it, please come forward. I actually did a whole special video on that a couple of weeks ago. Thank you, and good night.